So, since Showcase is right around the corner, I have some questions for you regarding Showcase and your overall um, experience as an actor, voice actor, etc.
Certainly.
So, the first one is describe that experience as an actor or voice actor.
Just as the experience overall.
Yeah, like maybe like how you started, what was it like for you throughout the time that of your career and so forth.
Well, Ryder, I suspect my journey to becoming an actor was different than other people
Mhm.
because I was neither a young person who said, I I didn't go to Tisch or take like that kind of approach, the NYU sort of approach or UCLA sort of approach. I started out in the business world and I had a whole career in the business world, um, all across the world. But and it was wonderful and it was fun and it was rewarding and all that other stuff. But there was this piece of me that always knew there were things I wanted to accomplish that I wouldn't accomplish in the business world. And just to be perfectly transparent with you, there were also things about me that I knew didn't fit in perfectly with the business world. In fact, one of my old colleagues from the business world on LinkedIn, who I haven't seen in a long time, said to me, "I'm glad you're an actor now. This is a really good fit for you." I don't know if that's an actual compliment or if that's a backhanded way of saying, well, you weren't that great in the business world. I'm sure you'll be better as an actor. It doesn't matter. But I did enjoy my career very much and it was very rewarding. But there were the right brain side of me was always sort of underutilized. So I I'd done some things in my career that I knew um, were a good fit for this kind of a world. And what I did is I kind of assessed my own career the same way I would have assessed a client's business from a consulting perspective, which is to say, what do I like and what do I don't like to do in my day? What am I good at? And frankly, what am I not good at? And how do I take those concepts and extract from them the basis for a new career? And so I thought about things I'd done. I'd done a lot of global public speaking. I'd done some on camera interviews and some things like that. But when I got to a point where I said, I'm kind of done with the business world, what do I really want to do? Using the exercise on myself that I'd used with clients led me to believe I, I should I should give this a shot. So I started in voice acting. And this was during the pandemic, like a lot of people, and really realized I liked it. I got a lot of training and coaching. I still do. It's absolutely critical, ongoing training and coaching. And so that got me into voice acting, and that's been good and successful. Already understood the business side of voice acting, and I had to learn the performance side. Then about a year ago, it was Law who said to me, "Why aren't you doing on-screen acting?" And I said, "I don't know, Law. I've done some on-screen work, but not in a performance sense, more in an interview sense or a public global public speaking sense or like that." She said, "Why don't you do it?" And I said, "I don't know, I just haven't." And basically what she did is give me the kick in the pants that I needed to say I really should go into the on-screen world as well, which is what led me to where I am today and what's led me to this exciting showcase coming up.
Okay, good. Especially, I remember you telling me that you wanted to do on-screen acting like after your performance for Shakespeare, which was absolutely lovely, by the way.
Thank you. I did really I enjoyed that experience tremendously. And yes, it's time for me to move into the on-screen world. I believe, I just want to be a good working actor. Since I got into since I got into voice acting too, that's all I've ever wanted to do was be a good actor, a journeyman actor, and whether that's voice or whether it's on screen. But yeah, the Shakespeare play, the Shakespeare radio performance was certainly something that further sparked my interest in doing this. And at Law's last, um, I think it was at Nevo, I did some. She asked me to do a couple of on-camera auditions virtually, which I did, and those were fun. But this is going to be way more fun because now everybody's in person and the cameras are live and the people are live. And I know for some people that really is creates anxiety. It just makes me excited.
It's good to hear. Alrighty. So, industry-wise, what are your favorite things about the voiceover or acting industry?
Well, I can speak a lot more about the voice industry than I can about the acting industry because I'm so new at that I don't want
Hmm.
to claim to have any specific knowledge about voiceover. And I guess this applies to acting writ large. There's a camaraderie in this industry. There's an encouragement amongst participants in this industry that I really enjoy, and that frankly I would say is distinct from the business world. Not that not everybody in the business world is cutthroat and backstabbing. It's not, but in the business world, you have a role. Somebody on your left has a role, and somebody on your right has a role. All three of you want the same role, and there's only one of you that's going to move to that next role. And so it gets very tight very quickly as you move your way through the corporate ladder. That one could argue that's the same in the acting world, but there's much more encouragement, and I think it's because in the corporate world, if any one individual gets hit by a bus, somebody can step in tomorrow and do that same job just as well or better. There are jobs that I turned down, and there were jobs that I didn't get that other people took, and I thought, oh yeah, they're actually a better fit for that role. In this world, the same could be said, but also I know that I have a unique set of qualities. No one is just like me, for better and for worse. So, from a voice acting perspective, I don't worry about competing with anybody because if a casting director likes my voice, I don't, they're going to like my voice. And if they don't like my voice, that's okay too. I'm not the right fit. I don't take it personally. I don't worry about it. And the camaraderie of working together and helping each other is one of the most unique things about this industry.
I agree. Okay, now here is one that might be a little easier or a little bit harder. What are some things that you wish you could change about the industry, and how would you change them?
Ooh. I think the primary thing, I'm not sure change is the right word, but we stand at an inflection point in the acting industry because of AI. And AI could be viewed as either the greatest thing to happen to us or our worst nightmare. I prefer to think it's an agglomeration of both. It's tough. Um, we have to have AI in the world, and AI does a lot for our world. But within our industry, if not used properly, it can be abused. Our voices or likenesses can be stolen. And I think that's, for me, the greatest worry is that both our voices and our likenesses in the future can be taken without our permission. If they're used contractually for our permission, well, sign your life away. Recently, recently I got an audition for a spot that was worth a lot of money. I mean, a serious six-figure sum. Okay, well, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good amount of money. Some people would say that's life-changing money. But if you read the contract closely, you realize that there were stipulations in the contract that said, if we hire you to do this work and other work, you can't do any work for anybody else in any industry under any circumstances for a minimum of 1 year and a maximum of 4 years. Now you think about that for a second and you say, why would I want to take on a role where I got the gig, but then yippee-ki-yay, I'm done. I got to turn my other clients off. Can't do any other work unless I'm planning to retire to the Seychelles. It's not a great gig, and I'm, believe me, not ready to retire to the Seychelles. Um, so that was a dangerous situation that was created by a combination of both AI and contractual abuse. So I guess I need to add contractual abuse to that. I think that we need to be very careful what we agree to do in our industry. And I think without going into it very clear-eyed, we can be in a lot of trouble. So that's what I worry most about. I mean, our voice or likeness is stolen, or agreeing to things that are downright abusive. The solution to there is something that is already underway, and I really want to call out, and really support, which is NAVA, I believe National Association of Voice Actors. Hope I got the acronym right. NAVA is a wonderful organization, and they do tremendous work both in Washington and in terms of education and in influence and exposure to try to help voice actors, uh, even screen actors, and the industry overall understand the risks that they take when they don't understand what they're getting into, or help them understand the abuses that can happen either because of AI or because of contractual challenges. And so Tim and Karin and their organization do just tremendous work. And I fully support that. And I think they are, and all of our supporting them is the best hope we have of combating the potentially abusive practices in our industry.
Hmm. Okay.
Right. That was a mouthful. You're going to want to edit that down.
No, you're good. It was more like a lot to take in, and I'm like, oh, that is so right. Oh God.
More coffee for me, Ryder.
um, as it like, I think I only did this once where I consented to having my voice used for AI, and it was someone using my voice for a chatbot in their live streams. That was basically like the only time. The other time um was I didn't consent to it. I because I didn't I ended up not doing it overall was for education, like doing like a recording for educational purposes, but they didn't send me the contract until after I got casted. So after they sent me it, after I got casted, they sent me the contract, and I saw we may use your voice for AI purposes, and I'm like, no, that I did not know that before. Why didn't you tell me this?
Well, and we need to be clear-eyed about this. Our voices are out there.
Hmm.
Ergo, there's always the chance for our voices to be misused, stolen, and what have you. But and there's just no way around that 100% of the time. But when we sign a contract that says our voices are to be used, even within that, we have to be very careful about what we are permitting, because somebody might say, okay, well, we're going to use this voice for a chatbot.
Hmm.
But it may also say in the contract, and by the way, we might use that voice for other future purposes that are not deemed to be within the scope of the existing contract.
Hmm.
And then all of a sudden, you've opened Pandora's box, and you've let Smaug out of his cave, and the dragon is now swarming around and can go anywhere. And so we have to go into that very open eyed. If we do, that's great. You know, whatever you want to do. I I plan to be a voice. Salud,
Thank
saúde,
you.
Gesundheit.
Thank you.
Um, I plan to be a voice and on-screen actor until the day that somebody says, "Hey, kiddo, you got it. It's time to shuffle off this mortal coil." Okay, that's fine, but that's still a ways off. So I want to make the
Mhm.
most of it and do as much work as I can, and I don't want it to be misused. And so, at least for me personally, I never permit my voice to be used for anything that's artificial intelligence related because I know there's just too much opportunity for abuse. And so that doesn't protect me entirely by any stretch of the imagination, but at least trying to, you know, there's these things that are in your circle of influence and your
Mm,
circle of concern, right? We're concerned about a lot of things we don't control. Not much we can do about that. What's in our circle of influence, we have to control. And the smaller the difference between the two circles, the happier our lives are. So, what I'm trying to do is just say, I don't need to sign a contract or do anything with AI. I can control that. If somebody does something out here that I can't control, where my voice is stolen or whatever, nothing I can do about that.
mhm. Okay. All right. So we're getting to the showcase bits.
Okay.
What is one thing you're looking forward to for the showcase?
Oh boy. I tell you, everything law touches is wonderful. And I'll talk more about that in a minute. But as it relates to this showcase in particular, and this speaks to something law is so good at, I am so looking forward to the opportunity to perform in front of such an auspicious panel of expert, encouraging coaches. That's what I just can't wait to do.
Okay. And what are your goals for the showcase and your overall career?
Ooh. Well, my goals for the showcase are similar to the goals for every other event like this that has I been put on by, in this case, Law and Walid Chaya, who I'm sure make a terrific team. I'm looking forward to meeting Walid in person as well. Um, and the goals that I have whenever I go to a conference or whatever, I always make sure number one, I am absolutely diamond hard and razor sharp as it relates to preparedness. So I want to know who's going to be there. I want to know why they're there. I want to know what their background is. I want to know what they bring to the table that I can learn from primarily and that I can leverage secondarily. So I want to network. I want to create new connections. I want to solidify existing connections. We know who all the people are who are going to be there, both from a voice and on screen perspective. Getting a chance to meet them or meet them again and spend time with them. I really want to do that because this is a relationship business. If you don't create good relationships, certainly virtually, but also ideally in person, you're missing an opportunity. So my goal here is to really create those stronger relationships, foment existing ones and build new ones, and to learn. I want to learn from all these great voice and on-screen actors, casting directors, producers, whoever is there, so that I can improve my craft. Because if I go back to one of the things I said early on, I want to be an actor. I just want to be a working actor and do my very best work. And frankly, that speaks to the second part of your question, which is what do I want to what that's what comes next.
Hmm.
What comes after what comes next is taking my career to the next sort of proverbial level, which in the voiceover world means specifically doing more um, top spots, national spots, international spots, whatever.
Mm.
Um, and I have a few of those right now. I want to do more of those. I want to do more in some specific genres of voiceover. And then in the acting world, I really want to develop a reputation as a hardworking, easy to work with actor for both film and TV projects, be they commercials, be they documentaries, be they films, be they television shows. I don't expect to be a star. I'm not going to be a star. I just want to be when they're looking to cast for something, I want them to say, you know that guy, Todd Stark? He's pretty good. He's easy to work with. He comes super prepared. Let's cast him as one of these characters. That's what I want to do. And this showcase, as much as anything I've ever done, will help propel me to that next level.
Okay. So, what would that look like for you though? Like, what would the next level per se look like for you?
Right. Well, I'm going to bifurcate that into voiceover and acting. For voiceover, that means doing what I'm doing now and doing more of it. And what I mean by that is I have two East Coast based managers, one of whom is law, the
Hmm.
other of whom is Ingrid French in New York. And then I have a West Coast based manager, that's Brandon Cohen in Los Angeles. And I I get auditions from them every day. I want to get more work from them. In other words, I want to provide auditions good enough that when they give them to the client is even more likely than they are now to say, let's use that guy, Stark. So that means continuing to build my craft. So more of those top spots that I'm already getting, but more of them from agents and my manager. And on the film side, what that really looks like is I want to be able to go home, get great opportunities, potentially for on-screen work, and then I don't live in LA, but I'm willing to travel to LA, New York, London, anywhere I need to go, anytime I need to go. So I want to be able to create the connections so that casting director or an acting specific agent or my existing manager or whatever will say to me, "Hey, Stark, on Tuesday I need you to be in Los Angeles for this role," and I can be on it and go there and do the work. And that's what I'm looking to do coming out of this showcase. I'm going to be prepared to go do more work both in front of the camera and behind the mic.
Okay. Sounds exciting though, thinking about it.
This is the most exciting part of my career. I mean, I've done some things in my life that have been fun and have been exciting, and I've been in 100 countries on multiple continents, and I've had an exciting life. But honestly, this is the most fun I've ever had. So I don't know. It says I'm in the right profession.
Hmm.
There's this concept of being, engaged in your work or actively engaged in your work. The corollary to that, though, is being disengaged or actively disengaged in your work. And we all know people, I know people, you know people, who they go through the motions in their job. They get up and they go, okay, I got to go to my job, and I do my job and I make my way through my day. And maybe while I'm on a conference call, I'm also tidying up the house, or I'm baking a cake, or I'm doing other things or whatever.
I just work here.
I just work here. It's not my job, blah, blah, blah. We all know what that's like. And we all have been in that situation, being disengaged or actively disengaged in our work. And that's sad, not only
Hmm.
because your employer isn't getting productivity out of you, but because it's not fun. It's not fun for the individual.
Hmm.
You want to do things in your life if you are lucky enough to be able to. And I recognize many people in the world don't have this luxury, so I do not take this for granted. But if you have the luxury of doing what you really want to do, oops, sorry, that was Look at that. Wow. Lower, lower hand. Lower hand. Talk about somebody who gestures too much. It's a good thing it wasn't a rude gesture. I don't know what would come up on the screen. Um, if you have the good fortune in life, if you are blessed enough that you can do what you choose to do and want to do, which I am, you should do it, and you should do it with gusto, and you should lean in every day. And that's what I'm trying to do. And even in our industry, I want to be one of the hardest working, most dedicated people you can possibly be. And that's what I'm doing. And by golly, is it fun?
Is. Um, ooh, what is one thing you expect to take away from Showcase?
Ooh. I expect to take away a series of new relationships that will help me in my career, but that I can use to help those people as well. You can't get anything without giving something. Giving comes first and then getting. So I expect to create a cadre of new colleagues, actors, but also directors and others that I who will be giving me something in terms of learning and training and coaching and exposure. But in return, I expect to give them everything I can in terms of good performances, in terms of cooperation, in terms of um, willingness to go the extra mile to provide a good performance, be it behind the mic or in front of the camera. And I will take that away. And by the way, I will make very careful and clear notes about it. I will assess and I will reflect and assess on what I've learned and make sure that from the end of that showcase on, I get up every morning I get up and I ask myself the same question. What am I going to do today that would not happen in my absence? It will make the world and my life better. I ask myself that every day. In the context of this, I'm going to get up every morning and ask myself, what am I going to do today to make the life of the people that I met there, actors, casting directors, producers, coaches, anybody, what am I doing today to make their lives easier and more productive for us both? That's what I'm going to take away. And I will take that away.
Are you gonna make sure to bring a notepad as well, a pen and notepad?
Well, yes and no. Yes, I will be taking notes, but no, I don't use a notepad. Here's a plug. I use a Remarkable 2. Do you know what a Remarkable 2 is?
I don't. What is it?
It was called Remarkable. They got they've had the same version out now for about 4 years, but it's called the Remarkable 2. It's a digital notepad. So my
Mm,
notepad, I don't have it in front of me because I moved to this other place here, but it's a notepad about a quarter of an inch thick,
mm,
maybe 3/8 of an inch thick. It's a digital notepad, and I can use different kinds of note paper. I can have different length notes. I handwrite on it, and I can convert that to script, or I can leave it in handwriting. As I'm handwriting on it, it's automatically dumping up into the cloud. And I have separate
okay.
notebooks set up there. I have 26 notebooks set up on there on my little quarter-inch notepad. One of them is just for Lollapalooza Company. One of them is for different kinds of conferences, SOVAs 2023, SOVAs 2024, One Voice Dallas 2024, whatever. And all the notes from all those are on there. And I can just touch and scroll through them. And I can put drawings and I can do shading if I need to. Um, it's everything. And I take it everywhere, use it to write everything down. And I will take copious notes at this event. And then when I get back, I will collate them. If stuff's not in the right place, I can take a piece of the note and I can say, you know what, this fits better over in this other notepad I create. And I can just pull it out, move it over here.
Okay.
It's the best way I've found for me to take notes. And God forbid if I ever lose the thing, it's all in the cloud anyway.
Hmm.
I can get it down instantaneously. So yes, I will take notes, and my notes will last as long as my enjoyable career.
I do the same, but I use my iPad a lot of the
Sure.
time.
Sure. iPad can do the exact same thing. And the only reason I don't use my iPad is because I travel with my laptop, this particular laptop,
Mhm.
because this is what I use on the road for my voiceover when I'm not
Mhm.
in my studio. In my studio, I have a big Mac Studio, right? The big guy. But for this is what I use here. But then the iPad just feels like it's too bulky. I have too much junk as it is.
Mhm.
So I just carry this little notepad and I can carry that around with me and it's very convenient and easy. But whatever works for you, whatever system works for you, that's what you got to do.
Okay. I'll be sure to check the other one out just to see what it's like because I
Yeah,
like checking things out.
of course. I do too. Sometimes I check things out and I think this isn't for me. Sometimes I end up saying, yeah, this is a good fit. Doesn't matter though. Whatever works for you,
Mhm.
everybody's different. Whatever system works for you, just like whatever software to do voiceover works for you, whatever microphones work for you. Just use
Yeah.
whatever works.
Okay. Coming back to the showcase,
Yes.
what are your plans after showcase?
Ah, so one of the very first things I will do post showcase is I will write personalized notes to everybody who was there. I will thank them for their help, their participation. They're all all the coaches and producers and directors, they're all very busy people.
Mhm.
I want to be respectful of that. I want to show my appreciation. So, as I always do in any conference, in any meeting, anywhere, I will write them a very personalized note demonstrating that I was listening and paying attention to what they said.
Mhm.
I will show my appreciation and I will probably ask them follow up questions to keep the conversation going. What I will not do is sell myself.
Mm.
Nobody, nobody wants to be sold like that. I can't tell you, this must happen to you too. On LinkedIn, just as an example, 10 times a day, somebody writes me a note, somebody who doesn't know me, and says, "Hey, Todd, I saw your profile on LinkedIn and you look like a fascinating human being. And boy, your career has been wonderful. And I'd like to show you the products that I can sell you. And it'll only cost you $10,000 a day for 10 years." I'm like, who are you? What are you doing? Nobody likes that. And for the same reason, and of course, that's a ridiculous example, but for the same
Mhm.
reason, I wouldn't want to write a casting director and right off the bat say, hey, cast me in this role. I
Mhm.
understand the power of being assertive. I understand that. But I also want to be respectful and I want my craft to speak for itself. If I do a good job, if I do a good job in my voice and on screen work there, I will write them, I will start the dialogue going, and they'll reach out if they want me. When I was at Solvis this last year in December, a casting director reached out, yeah, in person, came up to me and said, "Hey, I really like your voiceover stuff. I want to talk to you about some acting stuff," and invited me out for coffee. I didn't ask for this. I didn't know this person. Asked me out for coffee to talk to me about what on-screen roles might look like. And what this casting director said to me was, I think you'd be a really good fit for certain kinds of roles based on your age and your profile and your, physiognomy. You'd be a
Mhm.
good fit. Um, and I was also encouraged, get more acting training because you can't have too much of that. Keep
Mhm.
getting coaching, keep developing your skills. And then you, Todd Stark, please reach back out to me sometime in the first half of 2025. And let me talk about some roles that might be a good fit for you on camera. I'm like, great. So one of the other things I will do after this showcase in reaching out to all those people is I will also reach out to this casting director and I will say, hey, I'm working on my craft. I study acting every week. I've now got a minimal amount of on-camera experience, but I'm not looking for a leading role. I'm looking to get roles that give me uh, help me learn and grow, and that I know I'm already a good fit for. And I
Hmm.
think this casting director might say, "Yeah, let's do something." So I'm going to have a whole host of follow-ups immediately following this showcase to move me toward that proverbial next level that we talked about earlier. I never wake up in the morning and say, what am I gonna do today? How am I gonna move my life forward? I've never said that a day in my life. And I guarantee you, Ryder, that right after this showcase, I will be a busy boy working on the next steps.
Okay. Speaking of after showcase, how do you plan to continue to grow your business and with the overall industry after?
Well, one of the very first steps I'm going to take is that we know people have to be able to find you, right? I mean,
Hmm.
most of us don't live most of us don't live in Laurel Canyon, a 5-minute drive from major producers and directors, and they're not our neighbors that we chit chat with taking out the trash. So we have to be able to be found. Um, I was thinking about rebranding anyway, and it was a Law. I got to give Law more credit here. She's the ultimate connector and just the ultimate advisor. I can't say enough good things about her. I wish I'd met her years earlier. Um, Law said to me, you need a rebranding, and your website is really subpar, really subpar.
Hmm.
That's a nice way of saying it. She said it much more directly, but I'm not going to say it that directly because I like her that much. So I said, yeah, you're right. And so through Law, I started working on a rebranding, which has been very helpful. Creating creating an image which is fitting to my brand and the kind of work I do, both voiceover and on eventually on screen. And then I'm working with Jim Frank to redo the website, which has been tremendously helpful because I had already been working in Wix, so I already understood something of Wix. And he, of course,
Hmm.
is a Wix expert and a website expert. So he's been invaluable. In fact, he and I are going to be working together this week to finalize my new website, to finalize another new email address. I'm currently Todd at starkvo.com, but I'm moving to Todd at toddstark.actor.
Mm.
The website is active, but the website is not. And hopefully by the end of this week, by the time this is online somewhere, um, that'll all be active, and you'll be able to go to Todd at toddstark.actor and find all my stuff. My new IMDb profile is up. And so one of the clear takeaways from a film standpoint, film and TV standpoint, coming out of this is to have a profile and an image and a set of a body of work, portfolio of work, which is representative of the kind of work I like to do, the kind of work I think is a good fit for me. And Law and Jim are helping me build that right now.
Hmm. Law also goes by not only just by your craft, but also by your personality. So when she looks at your website, she's like, "Yeah, this ain't you, bruh."
Yeah, and that's the way she felt about the work. She knows
Hmm.
what I can do, and she knows what I'm a good fit for. You know, I'm not a kid. I shouldn't be doing kid stuff. I shouldn't be doing stuff necessarily that demonstrates whimsy. Although I do get coached in a number of genres, including animation. Rick Zeef is my animation coach, and he's been remarkably helpful in helping me build a catalog of voices.
Hmm.
And I have done one animation uh, ad, although ironically it was for the Stanford Children's School of Medicine, the Lucille Packard Children's Medical Hospital at Stanford. But I played a dog, so I am doing those kinds of things, which have a little whimsy in them, although some seriousness. But if you think about me, I'm kind of a baritone, bordering on a basso baritone voice. It's more mature, it's more textured. So a lot of the work that I get is reflective of that tone. And I need to lean into that. And it was Law who said, your website and your image need to reflect that. So, she has said, you've got some pastel colors on your website. Get rid of those. You should
Mm-hmm.
be dark. You should be monochromatic. You should have, should have spots of color, pops of color. But basically, that's not who you are. So have your website, have your branding, have all of your imaging reflective of who you are and the kind of work that you do, which is largely commercials with some gravitas or narration with some gravitas or those kinds of things. Promotions. I've done some promo work. I took Joe Cipriano's promo masterclass for a number of weeks, and that was really great. And I'm the voice of Mizuho America's Bank for the LPGA, and
Shark.
I have the voice of that. I'm sorry. What did you? I'm sorry. What did you say?
Shark. Your shark commercial as well.
Oh yeah, that's right. A Shark Ninja. It's the Shark Power Detect vacuum. I'm the voice for the Shark Power Detect vacuum, and as I said, I did the LPGA spot last year. I'm doing the spot again this year, which will air in May. And I've got some pharma stuff, which I don't know if it's public yet or not, so I can't talk about it. But
Mm-hmm.
again, I'm doing stuff which is representative of who I am. It has gravitas. Uh, 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 it has tone. It has presence. That's my voice. I can't change it. I might as well lean into it. Somebody else is going to be doing the next Huckleberry Hound. It's not going to be me.
All right. Also, sorry if I was blinking a lot earlier. I'm still in the process of waking up, so if I'm like
You
blinking
know
like
what?
hard or whatnot, it's
No, no, you're fine. I'm. It's morning. We're
yeah.
we're we're allowed to be this way.
All right. So those are all the questions that we have. Is there anything else that you would like to add or plug before we head out?
The only thing I would say is I just want to give another plug to Law and her team. And I don't say this gratuitously. If I didn't mean it, I just wouldn't say it. But Law, let me say this. MCPO is one of my agents, but that's not primarily the benefit I receive from it. Most of the stuff I do for spots come from my manager, Brandon Cohen, occasionally from Ingrid French in New York. I've auditioned for some stuff for MCBO, but that's not why I value them so much. I value them because of Law's ability to see a person, really see a person for who they are, and then determine from that visual and from hearing and from understanding people. Really, she's so good at understanding people and intuiting people, how to bring the best out in them. She brings the best out in people, and Law brings the best out in me as a performer. And she knows how to connect. She is a networking sensei. And she can always say, you know what, Todd, I think you should look at this, or you should consider that, or don't go this way, or I don't like that. She's so good at that. I value that, and I will value that for till absolutely the last day of my career. And then I will continue to value her friendship when I'm too old to perform. But I just think she's the very best at creating relationships, maintaining relationships, building relationships, and networking around those relationships. She's the best I've ever seen. And I only say that because it's true.
Absolutely, it is true.
And her team, by
Um,
the way, great team, Ryder De La Rosa.
Yeah, I really, when she asked me to be her social media manager, I was just in awe. Like it was something that struck me. I'm like, me? Okay, sure.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's great. I mean, you should absolutely, you're leaning into it. You should do it. And I'm pleased. I'm very pleased to have be able to work with you, with all of her other technical people like Jim Frank, as well as uh, all of her coaches who are just awesome. Um, I'm very pleased and very honored. But I enjoy working with you. You're a great human being, and it's real fun. So thank you for that.
Thank you. All right. Well, with that being said, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it, especially because I know you're busy. You're also out and about. But I really, really hope to see you. Well, I can't really see you. I'm not going to LA, but I mean like being able to see what you can bring during the showcase.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm looking forward to it. It'll be great. And I hope if I do my job right down the road, you will be able to see me virtually on screen somewhere, coming to a screen near you. We'll try. So
Yes. All
thank you for
right.
that, Ryder. And I look forward to seeing you. Maybe someday we'll get a chance to meet in person.
That would be amazing. Yes.
Yeah. Are you in the Boston area?
I am in North Carolina. I did tell Law that if I ever decide to go to Massachusetts or whatnot, I'll definitely like visit her
Oh yeah.
with like the voice actor book that which has one of the chapters that she wrote in just for her autograph.
Autograph. I think that's great. I think that yeah. Well, I hope we get to meet in person someday. In the meantime, I will see you on a screen near us both in the near
Yes.
future. And thank you for this opportunity. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay.
Take
Bye.
care. We'll see you
You
later. Bye
too.
bye.